If you want to get ahead of 99% of UX design candidates and land your dream job in tech, you need to do what most designers aren't doing. Here's the typical approach. Watch YouTube tutorials, take courses, work on personal projects, polish resumes and portfolios, update LinkedIn, and apply to hundreds of jobs online. But that's exactly what everyone else is doing. Here are 10 things that most UX designers aren't doing and can truly make you stand out. The last one helped me to pass a big tech interview in 14 minutes. Watch till the end. Hey, I'm Aliena and I teach design at Fast Track UX. Number 1. Trace existing product design. Most designers I met around me, they get excited on designing their own product too fast. But in the beginning, if you don't do enough groundwork on learning about Figma and UI, even if you take a certificate or a course that teach you how to do the UX process, you still won't be able to deliver something that's good enough. So for aspiring UX designers, instead of jumping directly to designing your own product, first try to trace existing product designs. You can do B2C, business to consumer products, like things you can use on a daily basis, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can also try to trace B2B products, which is business to business products. Things like Shopify, Google Ads, almost anything that businesses will use. Here's an example of my students' work from Fast Track UX. This is the production screenshot, and this is their work tracing the design. Production screenshot, their work tracing the design. Tracing existing designs can also teach you so much about UI design. Number 2 is study how designs change over time. I recommend you to use this tool called Wayback Machine. This tool can help you to date almost any website to its past designs. For example, YouTube homepage, Apple website, these great products have all evolved over time. Use this tool to see how the product you are interviewing for evolve over time. Number 3, pick projects with clear business value. For most of my design students, before they learn from me, most of their projects really don't have a clear business value to it. I've seen people doing things like designing a new ride-sharing app, designing a new e-commerce app. If you design a ride-sharing app, how would that make money? Why would people use your app instead of Uber and Lyft? All UX and product design projects need to start with a clear business incentives. And that is why I encourage you for your first project, instead of designing a new app, try to design a new feature for an existing product. And this feature needs to clearly prove there's business incentive behind it. In other words, this new feature needs to help this tech company to make more money. For companies that are IPO'd, you should be able to look up their financial report over time, and their financial report should also detail on how different part of their product make money. You can use that and also use the help of ChatGPT to evaluate the annual revenue this project can generate to this company. This is one of the most important metrics we use at BidTech to evaluate whether a project should be moving forward or not. Number 4 is learn to pitch and sell your ideas. I think sales and pitching skills are the most important skills for almost any career. And you especially need to learn how to sell and pitch your ideas in your portfolio and also in your job interview. Instead of listing everything you've done in a project, just pitch the most important part and directly convince the recruiters why you are good at design and what's the impact of the product. I have a tutorial on this, on how to pitch your design in your case study and portfolio. It's right here. Save this for now and watch it later. Number 5 is build your personal brand. After I build my personal brand, I am not only my portfolio and resume, I am also my personality, my stories, my ideas, and the impact I've made. All of the companies that interviewed me and decided to accept me, their recruiters have watched 1 or 2 of my videos, especially the funny sketch I made before regarding a day in the life as a UX designer. I also put it here. You can watch it later. I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever made. And they trusted me because they can see that I know how to design from my videos. Building a personal brand really takes time. You can do it via any social media platform, and I also have a video on how to build a personal brand. This is a long-term investment, but I think this is really worth it if you don't mind sharing your ideas, stories online. So if there's any point that really resonates with you, or if there's any point you would like to add, please leave a comment. If we have more than 100 comments, I'll consider to make a part 2 of this video. Number 6 is network up. I kind of don't like the term network up. I think technically it should be network out because our immediate connections are like a bubble and we're very similar to the 5 people that we're surrounded with. But if we network out, we'll expand our connections and possibility of getting a great client projects. There are 3 main leverages that I found you can network out: money, skill, and network. Let's start with money. If you have money, You can pay to get access to courses that other people cannot afford. And in this way, you can immediately get access to information and network that other people cannot. I personally were a little bit dumb on this because after I graduated from university, I was like, I need to make it by myself. So I didn't even use money as a leverage, even though my mom could technically afford it. And if you saved money from your hard work from before, it is a great time to use them as a leverage instead of keep competing with time and skills and try to figure everything out on your own on YouTube. Because YouTube is a beginner platform. When the skill difficulty raised to a certain point, it doesn't make a lot of sense for YouTubers to make tutorial video anymore because very little people will understand. And YouTube pay us based on watch time. And based on the existing algorithm, there's really no incentive for us to deep that hard. And that is why we need to make it into a course, a paid course. So whenever possible, if you can get into a paid course or a paid community, try to do that. Now, if you don't have enough money as a leverage, there's another thing you can use, which is what I did, which is using your skill as a leverage. When I was 19 years old, I lived in San Francisco, and I had the audacity to email the most expensive tech events in Silicon Valley. All of them. And I emailed them that I can be your photographer volunteer. And I got accepted to one event that cost around $10,000 to attend per person. And everyone that's there were CEOs around the world. So at 19 years old, I understood that I can use my skill as a leverage to get anything I want. And I got my network not really from paying for these events, but rather volunteer as a photographer. But what I see from my inbox is that a lot of people are willing to ask for financial aid, for help. None of the email were like, I can help you to create some UGC content. I can help you to do outreach. And in return, can you give me your course for free? So use your money, skill, and time to network up. Number 7 is master design systems. Design system is one of the concepts that aspiring designers probably wouldn't know a lot. And then most of the projects I've seen from aspiring designers, they would proceed with designing everything by themselves. But big tech companies we use very clear, polished, very extensive design systems. And here's an example. So instead of designing all the UI component all from scratch, we use these pre-made templates to do our design. And I will include a list of design systems in the free PDF in the description. Check it out later. Don't forget to download it. Number 8 is start an agency. You can do it technically and legally by literally starting a new company. However, I know that in some developing countries, it's actually quite hard to start a company because you might need to bribe a lot of people to get the paperwork done. Yeah, my friend told me that. In that case, you can at least mentally start your agency. So instead of thinking yourself as an unemployed person where your full-time work is looking for jobs, you should think of yourself as an agency owner, and your job is to get clients and provide services. If you think of yourself as an agency owner, it forces you to become more creative, and it forces you to create your own system to attract clients rather than just applying all day online. Most career opportunities, they are not listed online, and you need to search for them or even create one for yourself. I remember I have another video on how I thought of myself as Aliena Cai LLC instead of Aliena Cai, and that really helped me to level up in my life and career. I will include it here and you can watch it later on. Number 9 is to find accountability partners or co-working buddies. It is really difficult to achieve something on our own. If you find someone who have the same goal as you will not only have the incentive to help yourself, you will also have the incentive to show up for the other person and help them. And when you do this, you 2 times the speed you get to some goal. However, you really need to think about your co-working buddy as a buddy, not as a competitor. This world is very abundant enough for all of us to thrive together. And number 10. This one helped me to pass a big tech interview in 14 minutes. And this is when you are doing outreach and interviews, focus on your client and the company, don't focus on yourself. I'll tell you a story. I once was interviewed by Google for 6 rounds. For the last round of interview, there was like a 2-week gap. So every single day in that 2 weeks, I was just rehearsing my case study presentation. And I included 3 of my case studies in a PowerPoint that is more than like 40 pages. I was very desperate for that job. So mentally, I was like, I'm gonna include every single step that I've done to prove that I can do this job. But when I interviewed for another company, I was in a more abundant stage in my life. So I was like, whether I got this job or not, I have my agency, I have my YouTube channel, I am fine. And I only took 14 minutes to prepare for the next big tech interview, and all I did was go on YouTube and then look up a tutorial of how to use that product. I 2x the speed and finished the 20 minutes video in 10 minutes or so, and then went on their interview. All I did was talking about their product and what I knew about their product, the different ads they have in their product. And then the interviewer told me that among every single candidate they've interviewed, I was the only person that talked about their product first instead of my case study. This is a really important lesson I've learned, and now as a business owner, I can totally see from the other perspective. When I interview someone, the most important thing I need to learn is whether this person can work for my product, to know that you at least have interest in my product and understanding in my product. And if you keep on talking about yourself, your skill, your case studies, instead of leaving me any time to ask you, it's gonna be very off. If you want to see the part 2 of this, or if you want to see a more detailed guide on how to do cold outreach, let me know in the comment. If we reach over 100 comments, I will make a part 2. I'm Aliena. I teach design at Fast Track UX. Fast Track UX is a course and learning platform designed for people who are serious to become a product designer in tech. I also have a free email list, Trillions Cafe. You can subscribe for it for free to learn more about my learning in design, business, and life. And I'm gonna end today's video by this great fountain show I watched from Dubai's Atlantis the Palm Hotel.